Driving down life's highway, full of goodness and grace. I wake up every morning with a smile upon my face, 'cause I know everything I need to know. But I know there's still more to know. So I don't say no, let spirit flow and let it continue to grow. And know that I feel alright when I'm flowing with the river of life. I feel alright.
Welcome. You are at the Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley in Medford, Oregon. And whether you're part of our regular congregation that we normally see in person or whether you're joining us live stream from somewhere else, we're glad you're here. Welcome to our service today. Alexa, what was that? This is Alexa Ehrlich, our very own, who's our musician this morning.
Yes, that song was, well, I was just playing a couple tunes, but the next song that I will be singing is called Irish Blessing, and the words are, may the road rise to meet you, and may God hold you in the palm of his hand. So just remember that even when life gets tough, nature and the Divine Spirit always has your back. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
And let's just go to prayer, recognizing that there is one life, one presence, infinite love, infinite grace, and it is present all around, in, as, and through each of us. We are that in form, God living and breathing through us as us. And so we come together in that consciousness to connect soul to soul, spirit to spirit. And even virtually, that is a very powerful bond. So I give thanks for this time together, to come together and find and know a new level of peace, a new level of wholeness. So I know that this time is blessed. We are filled with grace, and God itself is right in our midst. With great gratitude, I let this be, and so it is. This is a different way of doing church for us. So I'm looking at a virtual world out there that I can't quite see, but it's kind of cool. I want to start with a reading. And this is from a drama, The New Story, an alchemical drama for our time by Anne Baring, which I received from the inimitable Peggy Rubin at a workshop last fall. And it's very much speaking to where we are at this moment, to me. This is Act 2, The Dawning of Awareness. And the narrator is speaking from the top of the steps to a large group of people. There was a time when men and women lived in harmony with the heavens, knew the rhythmic patterns of the stars, listened to the guidelines, the guidance of their dreams, passed through the veil to meet the shining ones. A time when everything that lived was holy, when nature was respected, honored, and served, when spirits of rock and tree and stream would speak to man. Few can hear their voices now. The connection with the cosmos has been lost. There is no harmony, yet harmony may come again. And then entering from the other side of the stage is Buddha, Lao Tzu, Krishna, Jesus, Mohammed, an African indigenous teacher, all emerging and speaking these words together. We, the teachers of humanity, have returned to awaken you to who you are. We told you not to kill. You have ignored our teaching. You have killed countless billions of men, women, and children. You have forgotten that your body is the temple of the Spirit. Now with your weapons and your insatiable greed, you threaten the life of earth itself. We come to awaken you to who you are. Your religions have taught you to believe, to worship, but they have not taught you who you are or why you're here. They've not taught you that you are part of the divinity you have been worshiping for thousands of years, believing yourselves to be separate, distant, not knowing your lives to have purpose, meaning, holding within you a priceless treasure.
All right, for this song, I will be singing Heal the World. What a perfect song for this talk. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love, and this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you'll feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a better place, to make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care enough for the living. Make a better place for you and for me. If you want to know why, there's a love that cannot lie. Love is strong, it only cares of joyful giving. If we try, we shall see. In this bliss we cannot feel fear or dread. We stop existing and start living. Then it feels that always love's enough for us growing. So make a little space to make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care enough for the living. Make a better place for you and for me. And the dream we were conceived in will reveal a joyful face. And the world we once believed in will shine again in grace. Then why do we keep strangling life when this earth crucified its soul? Though it's plain to see this world is heavenly, be God's glow. We could fly so high, let our spirits never die. In my heart, I feel that you are all my brothers. Create a world with no fear. Together we'll cry happy tears. See the nations turn their swords into plowshares. And it feels that always love's enough for us growing. So make a better world, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care
Wow. Thank you, Alexa. So Alexa Ehrlich is a senior in high school in our center, and I'm Reverend Linda Reppond, and I'm the youth minister here. So on a normal Sunday, we'll be in the teen room together. So how very cool is it that today we're the virtual service? That's us. So thank you so much. What extraordinary time we're living in. It feels to me like we're being shaken awake. Like everything that was comfortable about life is getting shaken up and is shifting and disappeared. And we're walking into this new reality. Does it feel that way to you? So many things are just kind of stripped away. And things that I thought were important so aren't. And things that I didn't think about before now require conscious activity. Like something as simple as bringing the mail in requires you to be consciously doing self-care to do that well. Whew, this is a really remarkable time. For just my experience in all of this, those of you who are from this community know that my husband Walter has had some health challenges, and so we have been sequestered for almost a month now, so a lot longer than many of you. So we've sort of settled into a life of quiet. And those of you who know me know that I rate at about 99% on the extrovert scale. So this is kind of challenging. And yet I find I have adapted to this quietness remarkably well. I like it. I like the stillness. I feel like there's something in me deepening and opening into what's coming. And at the same time, my emotions have been all over the map. I have felt sadness at discovering that the first of my friends that's been diagnosed with the virus. I've experienced the joy of planting seeds in the dirt in my garden. I've experienced anger and outrage at people who have no home being told to shelter in place when there's no place for them to be. It's kind of all over the map. And part of what I want to say to you today is feel all the feelings. We don't have to give them dominion. But it's okay to feel them. It's part of being alive and being awake to what's going on right now, is to just feel them. And I'm not presenting myself as a role model here or any kind of guru. I want you to hear that. I am riding this wave along with everybody else, and we're all experiencing it in its own way. But I do have some thoughts about what's going on that I think might be useful for all of us as we try to find our footing in a new world, in a new way of being. First of all, I was reminded by Reverend Michelle, who yesterday in our daily meditation, for those of you who don't know about this, you can click online at 9 o'clock any morning, Monday through Saturday, and a different practitioner and minister from our community will be leading a brief meditation. So it's a time to check in, get some human connection, and get some inspiration. And yesterday, Reverend Michelle referenced Pema Chodron. And I have most of her books because she's an amazing Buddhist teacher of our time, but she has a way of carrying us through the dark side. And her newest book is called Welcoming the Unwelcome. How's that a fortuitous message for this moment? Welcoming the Unwelcome. This is not from that book. This is from a previous book, and whose name I can't remember right now. But she talks about 3 futile strategies for coping. Futile strategies. The first is when we are confronted with the dissolution of the known and are stepping into the unknown. Our first futile strategy is usually attack. So I think we've probably all seen examples of that in the last couple of weeks. Of let's blame the Chinese. Okay, now let's blame New York. People trying to buy essential things at the grocery store and blaming the clerk when they're out of them. That attack mode it's a response to the stress that it's not helpful, but it is a response. A second futile response is indulge. I don't know about you, but I have a feeling the Haagen-Dazs stock might have gone up this week. And the Netflix, like all of the comforts that we can surround ourselves with are what we use to kind of distance ourselves from the intensity of what we're experiencing. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a futile coping mechanism. And then the third one that she talks about is to ignore, to pretend it's not happening. The people who are refusing to follow the request for social distancing, who are, not looking at the news, who are not paying any attention at all to their own health and care. It's a coping strategy. It just happens to be a futile strategy. And we see that all around us. There's a lot to see in our own experience and in the experience of the people that we can see around us, that we see, through media. There's a lot to observe in what's going on right now. And I would just like to offer that our teaching, The Science of Mind, offers some very important ways to begin to look at our own behavior and what's happening and to participate. And so that I want to just spend a little time going back to what we believe the Science of Mind philosophy teaches, and I believe it absolutely. The first of those is the oneness of all life. This is the core principle that we teach, that there is only one thing happening, and that thing is God. It is everywhere present. It is life itself. It's all there is. That means there's not two. There's not good and evil. There's just God. There's not right and wrong. There's not us and them. There's only one thing happening. And we are a part of that one thing. And it's all that is happening everywhere. That means God is the virus. That means God is in the loss and fear. That means God is in the economic and financial collapse that some people are experiencing. All there is one thing. If there's only one thing, God is in all of that. And so the invitation to us is when we can't see that, and I think however much I believe it, there are times every single day when I forget it and go back into some kind of like fear response. But when I can't see that, the invitation is to go deeper, to drop into a deeper space with the infinite and sit with the dissonance until our consciousness expands. Because it's the further you get out from looking at something, the broader your perspective is, the more of it you can see. And I feel like as humans, we see some little slice of life, and there is an infinite presence, knowledge beyond anything we can even conceive of, that is so much broader than that, that when I can step back enough to just broaden my perspective a little bit, I can see that. I can see that I don't know everything, but I can see that there is a perspective there, that there's something divine happening, and something is seeking to emerge that I don't know what it is. And I just invite us to take the time when we go into that fear space to drop into an inner awareness and sit in that dissonance, in the not knowing, and allow some clarity to come. Because God always shows up. There's another thing that we teach in this philosophy, and the easiest way, or one of the easy ways that we like to talk about it, is what we think about tends to come about. Have you heard that? That's very Science of Mind. It's what we give our attention to expands. And we are at choice always about how we respond to what is dealt us. We may not feel like we're at choice about what's dealt us, what's come our way. And I think that's part of the overwhelm, is that for a lot of us, I didn't ask for this. My favorite quote of the week is, "This wasn't on my dream board." True. I didn't see this coming quite like this. But we are at choice about how we respond. So if I choose to see that what's happening now means I'm going to lose my income. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to possibly die. Everything that I have known is crumbling around me. I just lost my entire retirement. Blah, blah, blah. That's a choice. I can also choose to stand in a position of, I was born for this time. I came here for this. I have had the spiritual training to be able to be nimble and flexible in my responses as what shows up, shows up. I can choose to believe that God is shifting and that a new paradigm is emerging. Is what's happening any different because of how I look at it? Maybe not initially. There is always the choice. I feel better when I look at it differently. But quantum physics tells us that what happens actually shifts because of how we look at it. So when we are gripped in fear, fear is all that can live. And we have scientists now telling us that fear suppresses your immune system. So if what you want is to protect yourself and your family and stay healthy, try to remove yourself from the fear as much as possible. How do we do that? We breathe, we pray, we drop into an inner peace, and remembering that God is all there is. But that those shifts in the way we look at things can shift what happens. So what if we choose to believe that something different is happening here, that something is seeking to emerge that hasn't been here before? What if we choose to look at it that way? Does it not mean that when we give our attention to what we want to see, that we help it emerge? Does that make sense to you? It truly does to me. So if I have the gift of time, which most of us have a lot more in abundance right now than we've had in a while, I do anyway. So with that time, what do? How about I sit and visualize the world I would like to see be born out of this? Now here's the trick. The visualizing, the calling what it is, drawing that picture, we can do. How it comes to be is on God's side of the page, not our problem. God is the one that makes all of it be so. So we don't have to limit what we think and what we visualize for the future to what we can figure out how we could make that happen. Not our job. But what if we were to visualize a world where there was enough, where everyone had access to food, to shelter, to medical care, to the opportunity to learn, to grow, to contribute in their own unique way? What if we lived in a world where the arts were flourishing because they fed our soul? I like that world. What if we spent time every day, and this is the title of this talk is Healing the World from My Sofa, just sitting on my sofa or in my comfy chair, taking some time to see a world I want to create, and then give that my attention. So while I could feed the fear, that's a choice. I could also feed the vision. That's a choice. I think the other opportunity for us here is to step out of our microcosm and into a larger macrocosm. I think the tunnel vision for me happens when I am focused on me, mine, my family, my household, my checkbook, my retirement fund, whatever. That's when I tend to constrict and contract and get smaller. Every time I shift my focus to those around me, even when I can't see them, even when I'm in my house and I'm tuning in consciousness to my neighborhood, I can feel what's going on. We can all feel what's going on. We can feel that there are people around us who are terrified. There are people around us who are alone, who have no idea how they would care for themselves if they got sick. You can feel the fear of that and send love in response. We have that option right from our sofa to send out to the world the message of hope, of peace, of love. Does it get there? Everything in my understanding of God says, yes, it does. If I'm wrong, if I'm totally making this God thing up, I will feel better for doing it. So that alone is enough. Okay? I do, however, have so many life experiences that say that there is an infinite presence that responds to our intentions. And so when I sit on my couch and send love to my neighborhood, send love to my town, to my region, this whole of Southern Oregon, I feel like it makes a difference. There's a beautiful symbolism in the Hindu philosophy called Indra's net, which is the net of jewels, which is an infinite network of points of light interconnected with each other, forming a net that indeed holds the entire world and perhaps the solar system in its infinite presence. And that we are that. We are nodes in that net of jewels. That where I stand, I am a jewel, a light center in that net. And I am interconnected with you, with every single person, whether I know them or not. That at a light beingness, my light is connected and I am reflecting that light back. And I love the symbolism of that net holding the world, that really the world is suspended within that net of jewels, that we are that presence of light. So what I say for my part of the net, I'm on duty. I am shining my light. I am connecting. The net is strong where I stand. Nothing's going to fall through on my watch. I claim that for all of us. We are that, and we extend that into the world, that what we're creating is a light ship that carries this ship of earth forward, that what is unfolding here is beyond what we have any understanding of. And I feel like there is great grace that we are on the planet at this moment to shepherd it in. And it's no small work. It is going to call for the very best of each of us. It's going to call for using every tool in our spiritual tool belt. What we're here to do is heavy lifting for the world that is seeking to emerge. It's not ours to stop the show, to start the show. It is just ours to be the point of light and carry what we can carry with us and shine it into the world as far as we can shine it. This is our work to do every single day, and we do it in consciousness. We do it by working from within outward. It's not necessarily in what we do, although you might have noticed that what we do ends up being informed by that consciousness. So sometimes when I'm sitting in consciousness, being directs my doing. So the next thing I do is send more kindness, PayPal somebody a little check, or make some extra food and put on my neighbor's doorstep. Whatever it is, there are places that the beingness informs a new kind of doingness, and that's awesome. But there are times when the beingness is all there is, and that shining that forward in the world is simply what we're here to do. So I'd like us to practice that. Let's take some time to do that work in consciousness together. You ready to give it a little practice? Okay. Wherever you are, just find a place to sit or lie if you're still in bed. Some of you might be. But if you're sitting, sit like this with your back straight, your feet on the floor, your hands either upward or down on your knees, and give yourself the space of being a clear channel. And gently close your eyes. And begin to breathe into your heart space. Feel your breath. As it goes all the way in and all the way out. Breathe in life. And exhale stuckness. Breathe in life and exhale stuckness. Breathe in love. Exhale fear. Breathe in love. Exhale fear. Breathe in wholeness. Exhale divisiveness. Breathe in wholeness and exhale divisiveness. Breathe in peace. Exhale separation. Breathe in peace. Exhale separation. And as you continue to breathe, with every exhale, release that which no longer serves. With every inhale, choose life, love, peace, wholeness. See the jewel of your being, your bright light, shine from your heart space. Shine that light, beam it first to the people who are nearest and dearest to your heart, wherever they are in physical life. And then broaden your light and shine it on your neighbors, people on your street, in your part of the world. Expand that light over your whole town or countryside, over all of Southern Oregon. Feel yourself interconnected with other light beings, shining that light over this country, this continent. See yourself as a node of light in the net of jewels that holds the entire world in love. See yourself connected with light beings everywhere. See the net of pure light that connects us with each other. Pour your light and love into every dark corner, into every place that your awareness shines. Pour your heart out there. Return to your own node of light. Feel the strength of the whole net as you remain connected to the whole. And allow all of that to also nourish you, to feed your soul, your body temple, to flood yourself with that love, that infinite connection that allows us to know that we're never alone, that we're always completely connected with all that is. As you return to this time and space, just allow that to fill every cell of your being. We are that light. And just trusting the infinite grace of God to carry us forward, to allow us to hold in our hearts that which we know to be true, to feel all the feelings, but give none dominion but love. I know this for each of us. I know this for our beloved planet, that there is a light awakening in the hearts of people everywhere that fosters kindness, generosity, caring. Love heals the day. For this I am so grateful. I know this to be true, and I claim it, and I allow it to be. And so it is. Coming back to this plane. Come back, come back. In this community, this is our time of giving. And in our normal service, this would be a time when you would give generously. And we would pass the basket and you'd put your check in it or your cash. And I encourage you in this virtual world to take this time to go to our website, CSLRogueValley.org, and hit the donate button and give generously. The world needs what we have right now. We need to fuel it forward more than ever. So thank you for your generous support of who and what we are. You can also call. You can call the number that's on the screen, 800-675-7430, with your credit card and debit card, and designate Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley as your payee. And of course, you can always mail us checks at Post Office Box 1458, Medford, Oregon, 97501. If all of that went by a little too fast for you, website, CSLRogueValley.org, and all the rest of it is on the website. So just those words get you to the website. So I really want to encourage you to stay in touch as we move forward, especially if you're feeling isolated and alone, if you're staring at your own face a little too much. Reach out. Our morning connection calls are a great way to do that. You'll find that on our Facebook page and on our website, and how to connect. You can sign up for our website to be on our email distribution. There's 2 amazing classes that are about to start, both of which are online. So for the first time, you don't have to leave the house to take a class. I will be teaching the Practical Mysticism class, which is my favorite class that we teach, by the way, which is based on Caroline Mace's book, Entering the Castle. And there's a lot of shamanic journeying in the along with the teaching about mysticism. So I invite you to sign up for that class. Our foundational class, which we call Foundations, surprisingly, teaches the core elements of Science of Mind, and that class is going to start next week also. So one is, I want to say that Foundations is on the 7th and Practical Mysticism is on the 8th. You can sign up for those classes on our website, and it's a great way to keep your own spiritual practice active, is take a class. So thank you for joining us today. Stay connected in all the ways that you can.